"2020 was the year for girl groups, and while every group had amazing comebacks, there were 10 in particular that stood out to me. Every group and comeback on this list absolutely blew my mind with their amazingness. Also, there is one debut on this list as well, and if you know me, I bet you can guess which one it is. Since this list is just my own personal taste, make sure to leave your own favorite comebacks of the year, even boy groups, in the comments, so everyone can check them out. Timestamps will be in the description. Now without further ado, let's get started. You might be surprised that this is here, but I think this comeback deserves way more hype than it got. At first, I really thought that she released a boy group song, maybe something that EXO would do, but then I came to understand that it's not a boy group song that Moonbird co-opted. It's a song done in her own style, which also happens to match many boy group songs, and that's something I can vibe with. Once I watched one performance of this song, it was like I fell down a Moonbird rabbit hole. She's such an amazing performer, and you could tell that she was enjoying the particular style of the song, which is not a style that she could do with Mamamoo. Sometimes when I watched the stages I would actually be scared because of her facial expressions, but that's a good thing. The overall vibe of this comeback is so unique and eye-catching, which I think is the reason that I was so obsessed with it. Who expected this? Definitely not me. She is breaking the mold. Also, this is kind of unrelated, but she looked so good this era. Like you all know that I am a fan of women in suits, and every time I look at her styling it's like would I want to be her or date her? It's really up in the air. The whole concept for this thing was just put Moonbird in a suit, and while that may be subpar for you, it is perfect for me. Okay, that's enough talking about suits for now, otherwise I may just go insane. On top of the title track, the album that this comeback came with is amazing as well. It was a pleasant surprise that we got to see some previously unreleased songs such as Moon Movie, but the crown jewel of this album is really El Jito, which is one of my favorite and most played songs of all time. Appropriate, considering it's about procrastination and all. I feel like this album told Moonbird's story really well. We have all the different moods and sides of her. Every time I think about this comeback I literally get emotional because I'm just so happy for her. I absolutely cannot wait for her next release. The execution of this concept was flawless. Everything just went so well together. It was like there were no holes whatsoever. First of all, Oopsie, the song is incredible. Every second has your attention. The bouncy beat they have going on is absolutely fantastic. My favorite part is for sure Luce's rap. But the rest of the song is good too. Have you heard Lua's?
Turn on the light.
If she isn't the definition of a girl, I really don't know what is. Like, can we just talk about her haircut? I was afraid to praise it because then I would seem like I only think she looks good with this haircut, but screw it. She looks way better with short hair, and that's just a fact. She bodied this concept. It's fun and playful, but they still get to wear suits, which is, as I said, my favorite thing in girl group styling. Give me suits all day, every day. And those concept photos where they literally had guns were amazing, though they did remind me of the concept for the movie Ready or Not. I feel like the main reason why I liked this comeback so much was because of how complete of a package it was. It felt like there was nothing missing here. Amazing concept and styling? Check. Amazing title track? Check. Oh, and I can't forget about the members themselves, because it was like it was everyone's era. In their previous comebacks, it was Yoojung, Doyeon, and Suyeon featuring random people with questionable styling. But this era they all got the styling and lines that they deserve. Overall a fantastic comeback. Stan Wikimeki. This comeback hit me like a freaking truck. Seriously, I was like, where the heck was this G-friend all along? They did away with doing the same exact song 20 times over and came out with a song that was 1. Actually good and 2. So addictive. I literally cannot explain to you my obsession with this song. It is everything I want. Mysterious, calming, amazing vocals. Like, they have it all. Hell, even the ambulance part is good. Their vocals on this sound crunchy or chewy. I literally can't explain it. I'm also going to give a little shout out to their B-side Creme Brulee, which is one of my favorite B-sides this year. Obviously, I can't talk about this comeback without mentioning the exquisite concept. The Garden of Eden concept really seems to be popular this year, but I'm not gonna argue, because I'd be lying if I said it wasn't my cup of tea. You know, it has that touch of mystery, like G-Friend Have Something You Want, but will they give it to you? Nope. It's that exact concept of making the group otherworldly and untouchable that is my favorite. As for the styling, anyone looks good in long, flowing dresses, and G-Friend are no exception. Also, the switch that they flip from light to dark literally made me go crazy when I saw it in their performance. It was like bam, dark G-Friend. And I bet all the buddies died on the spot. They look ethereal, like Greek goddesses. Yerin and Unha especially got my attention. Blonde hair will do that to me. Overall, this was the exact change that G-Friend needed to revitalize them. Because I won't lie, they were starting to get stale. The only problem is that this concept change came at the cost of Korean chart performance. But I can only hope that the new international fans, like me, that they gained from this comeback was enough to offset their losses. I would be so sad if they went back to their old style. Plus, now that they're under big hit, I hope that they are being supplied with the budget to keep this up. I can't wait for what they will put out in the future. Honestly, I was about to rank this higher, but I know y'all would come for me for putting a literal debut up so high, so this is where I think this deserves to be. If you've been watching my latest videos, you will know that I am head over heels for this release. It is perfect in every way. I cannot fault it. I love it so much. You guys know I love those expensive, grand looking productions, and that just makes this comeback look so good. They have everything I like. There's a really catchy song. There's a music video which is cohesive but still has a bajillion sets in it. And the stages, oh my goodness, the stages are a work of art. I love me a good stage background, and that combined with the actual performance of the girls makes the stages the highlight of this release. For me, I'm watching those stages and going along with the song, because it just gets me so hyped up. The dance is a little off-putting at first, but at the end of the day it matches the song, and that's all you really can ask for. I got so many comments on the video where I review this being like, you only like this because it's expensive, and my initial instinct is to say no. But you know what? Yes, I like this because it's expensive. I don't see why that's bad. The fact that it's so expensive means that there is so much more detail in every aspect of it. I can rewatch the music video so many more times because I know that each time I do, there will be something new for me to spot. They can afford to go on music shows that many more times, giving me more content to watch. I think the fact that it's so expensive is a good thing. It's not the fact that there's a lot of money, it's the fact that having so much money allows them to do a lot more to make it entertaining. And that's really why I love this so much. We had so much hype, and I thought they wouldn't be able to live up to it, but they did. Twice finally did it. They went retro, and this is exactly what I wanted. I'll be honest here, More and More was a disappointment, and while I Can't Stop Me is still not on a fancy or feel special level, it is enough to save Twice this year. It's only been a month and a half, but this comeback has aged like fine wine. Where are the bad things about this comeback? I do not see them. The song sounds so good, it makes me get up and dance every time I hear it. Like Apple, they have chewy sounding vocals on this track. The adlibs are a point of interest as well. And of course, we have which is not just the best line of the song but is also probably the best line of the century. Are you really a Twice fan if you haven't listened to Risky Risky Wiki Wiki on repeat for an hour? I bet that wasn't what they wanted to go viral, but that was what they got. A bit of a disappointment that they changed it in the English version. Finally, after 3 years, they came out with their second album. I don't understand why it took that long. I love the journey that this album takes me on. We start off upbeat and eventually transition to hard hitting, after which come the slower and emotional songs. That's artful execution if I've ever seen it. My favorite songs are Queen and Go Hard, with Believer and Behind the Mask coming in a little behind. The only song I dislike on the album is Hell in Heaven, and if you know me, you know that 12 out of 13 is a pretty good track record for any group. If JYP doesn't let them release another full album for 3 years, I think Onces will riot. I really want to talk about what this comeback means for Twice. I think that this was the final goodbye to Q Twice, if 2019 wasn't already the indication. At the time of writing this, the Cry For Me music video is not yet out, but looking at the teaser, I'm betting that the funeral they're holding is for Q Twice. I feel like this is the right thing for them. First of all, you know this will gain them many more international fans. Secondly, I don't know if the members themselves can really stand being so cute for so long. You can't sing about what is love when you've been in a long-term relationship, can you? All of this together just makes me really excited for the future of Twice. I'm gonna be a once for a very long time. Am I biased towards my alts? Maybe a little bit, or maybe a lot, but even if they weren't my alts, I still think this comeback would appear somewhere on this list. Red Velvet had to do something this year, and I think that this was the right move. This comeback as a whole is exactly what I liked at the time. It's like they combined Psycho and Zimzalabim, which really was perfect because they kept the hype that they had from Psycho, while keeping it suitable for summer. I saw the dark teasers and I was worried that it would seem out of place, but it's been the year of girl groups trying new things, so it ended up working out. Irene and Seulgi themselves fit the concept so perfectly, especially Irene, who despite her center position never really seemed to be at her full potential in their past comebacks. But this time around I was absolutely blown away by her charisma, and when she put on that blonde wig, it was like she couldn't get any better. Irene in the performances was one of the main reasons why I love this so much. You may be able to guess my second reason if you've seen my Spotify Wrapped video, because it's the mini album. Every song on this album is a 10/10. They're so cohesive, all sounding kind of like elevator music, but it's boppy elevator music. My favorite song is Jelly, while my most played song was Diamond. They all take up that middle space between plodding and full on upbeat, which is why they work for any mood and any time. Like, seriously, this album is one of the best albums I have ever heard flat out. Their next comeback had better produce another equally good album. I feel like I need to treasure this comeback in particular because, as we all know, Red Velvet's future is starting to get a little uncertain. I had high hopes that even if not all the members re-signed once their contract was up, at least Irene and Seulgi would, so that we could get more unit comebacks. But now with Irene's scandal, I don't even know if the subunit will go on. So I go and watch Monster stages and feel sad about it at least once a week, which might be a reason why this comeback is always in my mind. I love Red Velvet so much, OT5 forever, and I'm just going to be replaying the Monster album for the rest of my life. I will admit to knowing next to nothing about A-Pink, but that can't stop me from loving this comeback. It wasn't anything unexpected, considering what they've done for the past few years, but I like how they put that bright twist on it. This style is much boppier, appropriately so since it was released in spring. I prefer it to the other two songs, especially because it is more fun to dance to. Unfortunately, they don't use any of the sets from their photo shoots in the MV, but it's still pretty. Each member has their own set, Nayeon's being my favorite. Also, the makeup is on point. I love looking at unusual makeup, and the varied looks they have here really elevate the styling. This comeback, as a whole, feels so cohesive. I love how they promoted two of their B-sides because it made me feel like I was really getting to know the group, despite only having really paid attention to them for a couple of comebacks. The two B-sides they promoted also had very different vibes. There was a cute one and a mature one. That showed that A-Pink as a group and this comeback as a whole was just really fleshed out and had control of all concepts. I have a very strong desire to see older groups like K-Pink dominate the K-pop scene, even if they have fewer comebacks than usual. It's more about optics than the group itself, but I still think that it's awesome to see them have achievement after achievement and be like, yeah, a 9-year-old group did that. They're still going strong after so long, and I love that about them. This comeback is here simply because I cannot get it out of my head, no matter how much I try. I will admit that I despise this at first listen, especially because I didn't want Loona to continue their style from So What. But I then had a sort of orbit mid-standing crisis and realized that no matter how I feel about this change in style, they're gonna keep doing it. I can get on board and embrace it, or lose out on standing Loona, and obviously I chose the former. Once I got over my mental block, I realized how much I love this comeback. Why Not is genuinely a good song to me. It takes me on a freaking roller coaster ride. I'm going up and down with the beat. There's a low part and then the initially annoying high-pitched songs that eventually sound groovy. I'm sorry guys, I have literally no knowledge about music terminology, but I hope you understand what I mean. I'm just trying to say that the contrast in this song, from the high parts to the low parts, from the fast raps to the slow bridge, is really what makes it an amazing song for me. I'm out here listening to it on repeat and having the absolute struggle of my life trying to do the dance on the daily. As for the concept, or should I say the lack of a concept, I love it. I genuinely cannot explain to you what this concept is, and you can have a go at it in the comments, but it's feeling like the concept for this is everything. I don't mind, though. I really don't care what is going on as long as 1. There is some Loonaverse stuff thrown in, and 2. They look good, and thankfully this concept covers both. I don't trust myself to come up with my own Loonaverse theories, but I like spotting Loonaverse related things in music videos because it makes me feel like Loona as a group is doing something more. We love Loona because they are so unique, and the Loonaverse is reinforcing that aspect. On the styling side, I was literally in love with everything they did. Heejin had the standout styling for me, especially with her hair color. It's not the brown so much as the highlights she has that I love. And we can't forget Blue Go 1 and Orange VV. Both are iconic. They may not have had lines, but at least they had the hair. I'll also give a shout out to Voice for being among my favorite B-sides this year. The rest of the album may not stand out as much, but Voice is that touch of the signature Loona sound that made me stand them. You would not believe how overjoyed I was when I saw they were promoting it, and the fact that they made an English version, and a music video for it as well, is a touch of genius. Finally, we have an English version that has lyrics that actually make sense. Usually English versions have to work around the English phrases that were in the original song, but Star has an entirely different title and to an extent meaning, which makes it actually good. Man, I just love this comeback so much. BBC had better not pull another post-Butterfly hiatus and wait a year for the next comeback. Like K-Pink's comeback, I like this comeback mainly because it feels like a complete package, and I like what it tells me about K-pop as a whole. Oh My Girl's success story is just so awesome to think about. They are one of those groups that you just want to root for because even after a long period of struggle they finally managed to break through. Thinking about them gives me some hope that even the most underrated of my faves could find mainstream success. The K-pop world is just that random and unpredictable. When I think about this comeback, I actually get emotional a little bit because I'm so happy for them. But enough of that, let's talk about the comeback itself. Non-Stop was the perfect song when it came out, but as quarantine progressed I became more and more in need of an upbeat song to boost my mood, and this was that song. A boppy, bright beat is combined with easy to learn dance moves that made me get up and do the dance every time I heard it. The song builds up tension leading up to the chorus in a way that I feel is unique, probably because it lacks the extreme EDM drop that we see a lot nowadays. But that's a good thing. I love how the soft vocal parts are balanced out with Mimi's raps. I honestly feel like her style would not be suited to many other Oh My Girl songs with their dreamy concept, which is probably why she got very few lines. But this time around she got to shine and I love that for her. And can we talk about her hair? Mimi and Sunghee's hair both give me life. There was a time a couple of months ago where I seriously considered dyeing my own hair pink just because I thought it looked so good on Sung-hee. The way that the pink and the purple they had went along with the concept was just chef's kiss. I've seen the concept called bland and overdone, and granted, it isn't exactly innovative, but a dose of bright and happy is what we all need, and this concept gives it to us. It isn't ashamed of being just fun, which is just another case of oh my girl absolutely leaning into whatever concept they try. It doesn't bother trying to mix up a bunch of stuff. Nope. It's straight to the point, cute and fun, and that's how I like it. I especially love the color scheme, because purple is my favorite color, and pink is my favorite color as an aesthetic, which you can tell from my intro. Funny story, the reason why my intro is pink is because I knew I had to have that Sung-hee clip in there, so I built the whole intro around it. That is just how much I love her hair. I'm not exaggerating. Overall, this comeback was just what I needed this year, and it was a pleasant surprise to get this from oh my girl, who I had previously stereotyped as only doing that dreamy concept. I love Remember Me, and I kid you not, I was going to stan, but then they released SSFWL and I noped out of there. They aren't quite in the stanning territory because of Non-Stop alone, but I bet that if they keep this up with their next couple of comebacks, they'll get there. Now before we go on to the top comeback, I'm going to give some quick honorable mentions that barely missed out on the list.
Bring it back. 네 맘속에 듣죠.
And now, my absolute favorite comeback this year is yeah, I bet you saw this one coming, but I've gotta give credit where credit is due. I complained about it extensively in my video Things I Hate About Groups I Love, and this comeback literally fixed everything I was complaining about. They fixed their concept, they fixed their album quality, and all of that combined with everything I already loved about ITZY's releases, like their addictive title tracks and their detailed styling, just made this comeback one of my favorites of all time. I am still obsessed with everything about this, and I'm pretty sure I will be for the rest of time. I mean, how could you not love this? I'll try to not fangirl too much and be methodical here, so I'll start with the title track. As always, ITZY deliver the title track of the century. ITZY's title tracks have always been my favorite thing about them, and this one is not exception. Sure, it's off-putting at first, but give it 30 seconds and you'll be in the groove. Every time I listen to that song I am literally jumping up and down and going in the background, which is also me making a fool of myself, but I'll do anything for ITZY, and every time Ryujin goes cause I'm not shy, I'm literally freaking out because it's like the signal to the most amazing chorus, and right after comes the beat drop, which is just made to make you dance. I don't know how you can go about listening to this song and you're not getting up and dancing around. Even if you don't know the choreo, I am sure you have some level of movement. It overwhelms the ears in a way that is annoying at first, but then you can't pay attention to anything other than the song. I have tried multitasking while listening to ITZY songs and it is physically impossible. As for the concept, when I say they fixed everything, I mean it. Their old I Love Myself concept was getting stale, not because I didn't like the concept itself, but because after doing it so many times I felt like its impact was lessening. This comeback, however, managed to deliver the same message of self-confidence, but in a new context, which I really like. You don't just use self-confidence to ignore the haters. You can also apply it to things like love. And I like how they finally got around to saying that. And all of that is even without considering the Western stuff, which again was a much needed change. ITZY looks so cool in their car chase. At first I was a bit shocked because I didn't expect them to be that outside for a music video, but I love it. I wish the Western concept could be a trend the same way that the retro concept was this year. Now that would be a spectacle. ITZY had some Zimzalabim level randomness to their styling this era, but it worked for them. One thing I love about ITZY's styling is how much attention to detail there is. If you take a close look at it, you can see all the little bangles and makeup quirks they have. For example, they all had different eyeliner shapes. Leah had the standout styling. But my favorite piece was Rujin's embellished cowboy hat, which was obviously custom made for the concept, and that makes it so perfect. They could have just thrown the hat onto her, but they added those little jewel hangy things. That is a testament to the level of detail they have, and that's why I love this era's styling. Yet another thing I complained about that they fixed was their album quality. The tracks on this album don't feel nearly as similar as the tracks on their others. And even the token ballad song Be In Love wasn't overly slow and cheesy, which was quite the relief. My favorite songs, besides Not Shy, obviously, are Surf, ID, and Don't Give a What, which is half the album, so you can tell that ITZY didn't make it easy for me. I think that ITZY are more going in the direction where the things that give them their style, in their B-sides, at least, are the girls' voices as opposed to an actual sound. But I find that better, actually, because there will always be something I like. This comeback just as a whole blew my mind when it came out, still blows my mind whenever I look at it, and I think will continue to blow my mind in the future. You guys know that I love and ult ITZY, and while that did factor into my decision to make this the top, I genuinely think that this would make the list whether I stand them or not. What other comeback was so put together and excelled in literally every, and I mean every, aspect? And Not Shy has not gotten old yet, either. I still feel the same energy every time I see anything from this era, which is more than I can say for most songs. The praise is deserved. I can't wait for ITZY's future. I mean, just looking at their awards show performances makes me excited for their next comeback. They really have something special. That's it for this video, guys. I hope the 27 minutes of me fangirling was entertaining to you. Don't forget to leave your own top comebacks of the year in the comments. I love reading comments from you guys. Hope you're having a good day, too. Bye guys, and I'll see you in the next one.